Hi. I just thought I would check in. I think I'm going to share intermittently, just about my feelings and things that I'm realizing as I go through this process. And maybe I address some of the energy that I'm picking up on as I'm going through this process, to speak so truly out into the open is freeing. It feels like I've put down a very heavy burden. But there's also a sense of not knowing who I am without the burden. That's a very real feeling. It's like I don't know who I am without this burden. I've carried this burden for so long. I do understand that it's difficult to consume this kind of information. It's dense information to consume. And so I think a lot of people are struggling with processing what it is that I'm putting into the ether. I understand that. Because this is information that we normally suppress. We keep it in the shadows, we keep it in darkness. And I'm shedding light on something that many people understand. Maybe even not only from hearing somebody else's expression of it, but for some people even going through similar things themselves. And this process is about shedding light onto darkness. So it is an outcry for help. Literally, if you are somebody who knows this person, tell him to do the right thing. I don't know. Tell him to do the right thing. If you care about him, you will look back one day when he comes towards his healing. You will look back at how he handled the situation, and there's a way that he will feel proud of himself. Because this is for everybody's salvation. This is so that everybody can come towards their healing. This is an act of love, whether we like it or not. Do we want those that we love just to continue on in really toxic ways that are hurting people in the world? Do we want that for the people that we love? To just cover the thing up, but then they never go towards the healing? Why do we want that? This is an opportunity for acknowledging something and going towards healing. And I know that once healing happens, I believe this, that once healing happens, he will look back on this moment and he will wish that he did it better than he's doing it right now. Because there's a way that he can still show up here. There is a way that he can still show up here that a future version of himself will be proud of, actually. The other thing that I also think is very important about what's happening here is the fact that if you haven't, through this process, looked at your own relationship and went, am I doing the best I can for me as well as for my partner in this relationship? Am I bringing the best version of myself? Should I go and work on aspects of myself that I know are potentially hindering the success of this relationship that I'm in? And if it hasn't, let us be an example to you. Honestly, let us be an example to you. If you thought that you were alone, and something bad was only happening to you, I can say you're not. You're not alone. I am here with you, you know. If you are in your relationship and you know that this is the person that you love and you want to spend the rest of your life with, but you know that you're not bringing you the best version of yourself to the relationship, maybe this is an opportunity for you to, you know, change gears. We mustn't forget that our relationships are really about growth. That's why relationships exist in the first place. Your relationship is supposed to bring you to newer and truer versions of yourself. That is what the potential of a relationship actually is. And so growth and pain and anguish even sometimes is part of the process. And you know, a relationship is it's a thing that's alive. It's got a life of its own. And if you don't take care of that, it will die. Relationship is a beautiful thing. And I see it more and more. I see how important relationship actually is. And we need to be pouring more into our relationships. That person that said to you that they'll go all the way with you, you know, that person must matter to you. You must matter to that person. And, you know, if you haven't yet evaluated it, evaluate it. You spend so much of your time in each other's energy. Are you building each other up? Or are you tearing each other down? And not only about what it looks like to the outside world, what it is like. Because I think that's really the thing. It's like less about the moments that we put onto social media and more about the moments between those moments. Those are the ones that count the most. And what kind of experience are you having? And what kind of experience are you creating for somebody else? And we just have to bring more awareness to those. We have to bring more awareness to it. And I'm almost going to say, let what's happening to us be a lesson. Let it be a lesson. Come we learn from it. Come we learn from it so that it can start happening less. Where people get hurt and for years and nobody knows anything about it. Or just like people get mistreated badly and they blame themselves and so they're stuck in a kind of a hell. I just go, we need to be more honest about what's happening in our lives, and it's a way to prevent further harm, and it's also a way to come towards your healing, because the way you stop hurting, if you are in a relationship and you are hurting somebody else, but you're aware of it and you're kind of going, but how do I stop being this version of myself? There are ways to find healing for these things. There are ways. You are not a hopeless cause if you've hurt somebody. But you have to be willing to acknowledge that you've hurt somebody and then come towards your healing. But you have to be willing to acknowledge that you hurt somebody. I have to be willing to acknowledge what I did here. I must do it. And then say sorry. And then say sorry for the things that you did, you know. I did a lot of that work. I did a lot of that work here. Actually. And when you start giving from a better quality, a truer quality, when you start seeing the value of what you are actually giving, because of you love yourself. And so if you love yourself and you need to be in this energy, what are you going to put out? I'm going to put better energy into the energy that I'm in. But what happens is that you start seeing more clearly, because if I'm kind of bringing awareness to how I'm sharing, then I'm going to start bringing awareness to what I'm receiving also. It's just like you start seeing life more clearly when you bring more awareness to the way you are living it. And your meditation is very important for that. Your meditation is so important for being able to bring awareness to your life. You have to be present within your own life. I want to just say again, let it be a lesson to everybody. I will continue coming I will continue to come and speak about the way I'm seeing things and the realizations that I'm having. Whether or not you can currently come into full agreement with maybe the way I'm looking at this thing. But I think there are some truths here that are like, on the nose, and whether we like it or not. Because that's the thing. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It is what it is, and so what happens next? And I feel like I am putting my life on the line here. I'm putting my name on the line, I'm exposing myself. There's a gaping wound here where I am. There's a gaping wound. And it's like, in order to heal the wound, I need to bring the wound out. I need to put the wound on the table, and I need to start cleaning this wound. And what I'm doing is I'm cleaning this wound. I'm cleaning my wound out loud to say, it's okay to clean your wound. And sometimes cleaning your wound looks very, very messy. But I think it's important. I think it's important that we see wounds being cleaned out loud.